Take a look back at Q1, race 1 on the inside. Backward got the jump on Bennett, and that was tidily done. He absolutely needed that.
Yeah, that was perfect. He got himself a car width in front of Bennett by the first corner. He was able to take his own line, and from there he kept it super tidy and just drove his race.
It's going to be different, isn't it, the tactics when we've got more than 5 cars. Yeah, the way this works is we have as many 5-car races as we can. When there's only a couple in there, Dan, it's not quite so difficult in terms of Joker lap strategy.
No, so obviously you don't have as many cars on track, not as much traffic to try and slot back into. So, you know, it's kind of up to you when you do the Joker lap. I was speaking to some of the spotters earlier, and I think the Joker lap's roughly 2.5 seconds here, and it's going to be faster to do it on the last lap due to your exit speed.
Take a look back then at race 2 from Q1. Kevin Hansen getting the best start by far. Scheider just putting a slight squeeze on Raymond and then on the brakes earlier and tidy through. Those two carrying a lot of speed through. You can see Raymond hurting his exit speed by going wide, but Kevin's super defensive.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why I mean, as you can see as he comes past, he had, you know, a couple car whips gap behind him, unless he was worried that Scheider was going to put a lunge on him. You know, we do have a lot of Robins racing in Rallycross, so anything could have happened, but you know, these two guys playing it very sensible, not getting themselves into a fight and really getting the time down.
Yeah, they need to. This is early in the season. This is super early in the season, so you need to be making sure that you get the results you want, not DNFs. In the background, I wondered if we might see Cyril on, but we haven't. You can see the car parked in the background. This was the end of the race. Kevin Hansen this was prior to the end of the race, 1 lap to go, and this was Kevin Hansen coming down for an absolute flyer over the line, and the fastest time so far. So here's another look then at race 3 from Q1. What a move from Mark, and he could not have been any closer to Szabo, and fair play to Szabo for not tagging him. He didn't move over, I don't think, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a tar mark across the front of Szabo's car. That was really committed from Mark, and great start.
And a lot of trust from his fellow competitors there to not be turned around on the way into turn 2.
This was the Joker split. Szabo, this must have been later into the race because Szabo went the first lap. Look how close this was. Timozyanov round the outside, on the brakes, backs it into that apex, but Nitish was already running wide at that point, and so the front right tyre had already gone on Nitish's car by the time he got there. Great drive from Marken. Kevin Hansen leads with 1 race to go. Final race of Q1. Timmy Hansen with a great hole shot. In the background, though, look, Balmanis, realising he wasn't going to get around the outside of Gronholm, holds on, just manages to squeeze Bakiuska there. Bakiuska had to back out of it in turn 2, otherwise he was going to be in the rear of Gronholm. Background, then you can see Bakiuska had a look at Balmanis, but by that time, not really able to pass in that chicane, too narrow.
No, it is so tight in that chicane, and like we were saying earlier, it is a blind corner, so to try and lunge up the inside there, you've got to be a brave man.
This was Hansen taking the split off to the Joker. Of course, Balmanis had gone on the lap before. And when it all played out, in fact, Doran was in front of Bakiuska at that point and then came in 3 and a bit seconds behind him. So we didn't see what happened to Doran.
I think maybe Bakiuska's jokered in front of Liam, and then Liam jokered on the last lap and
has dropped back.
Switched back places, yeah.
There we are. Good analysis, Dan Rook. I'm busy watching at the front. He, of course, is across all 5 cars at the same time, like the legend that he is. But, yeah, so this was the point then at the end of the race. It was indeed Liam joking on the last lap. Well done, Dan. Bakiuska managed to get that position off him. But it's Timmy Hansen who took the final race off Q1. Right, take a look at the Hansens on the inside. Scheider, you can see, loses out the start immediately. And now, look, he goes out to the right-hand side, trying to find a way round. Niklas comes around the outside of Kevin. Look, Kevin goes deep there to try and get through. This is what I love, Dan, about a left and a right and a hairpin. We saw it at Hockenheim in the past. We've seen it at a number of different circuits. It always makes for great racing.
Yeah, it makes everybody back up into each other, and they have to try and find a space to try and squeeze in and make up a place, and you can always guarantee for a bit of door handling there.
I wasn't necessarily expecting backward when he went off to overlap the 2 guys, because it was so close. You know, when you saw how close Gronon was to the back of Timmy Hansen, I'm thinking, yeah, Backward's going to come in the pack, and actually, he was clearly in front of them.
Yeah, so definitely seeing better pace from the Audi in Q2 here. It's like we were saying earlier, there's definitely a fight on, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And look at Kevin Hansen in the background too. So we know the Peugeots are quick, we know the Audi's quick, we know that the i20 is as well. So that, you know, we're talking 7, 8, 9 cars here that could be on the pace. Having said that, at the minute, it is Timmy Hansen who is very much the pace setter. He won Q1. He's won this race, and remember, the fast guys have gone first. So I'll be honest, I'll be surprised if this time is beaten in this session. So it could be Hansen with the overnight TQ, but we've got 3 races still to go. Markham with a brilliant start. Say that hasn't been the strongest suit, and I have to say Shisharit's start was good too. Shisharit slotting into P3, look. the background then, Balmanis. Sabo goes out wide but couldn't find a way through. But what a great first few corners.
Yeah, it really does just pile the guys up together and make them all squabble, you know. It means that being on pole position doesn't necessarily mean you're in the best position.
Yeah, we saw Markin go around the outside from P5, didn't he? In fact, Markin's done it from both sides of the grid now. So into the merges. This was the good one between Shisrit. I love Balmanis' line. He just got sideways. I don't know that Balmanis could have come back from that because he's just on the point where the car transitions. I wouldn't say he hit him on purpose necessarily.
No, it was such a fine line between being in control and not at that point. So, you know, he couldn't really have done much about it.
We're hearing front left puncture for Timosyanov as the cars have returned to the paddock, and we saw him run wide in the corner you're looking at now. So in that right-hander, Timosyanov had run wide, and that's because he had a front left puncture. So a shame for him, but a result for Markland, P4 as we stand. Let's take another look at the start. So Doran has to kick the clutch, but as I say, we think he may have had some sort of a technical problem. So this is Nitish and Bakiuska. Bakiuska gives him a little nudge. It's tiny, to be fair to Bakiuska. That was well played. Now here again on the brakes, he misjudges it slightly, gives Nitish a little tap, but then he tries to stay out of Nitish, and Doran gives him a tap.
So yeah, like I was saying earlier, that concertina effect where you're so close behind someone, as soon as they brake, you don't almost have enough time to react.
But I don't doubt Nitish's speed at all, but I have to say, you know, kind of distracted by our chats about Bakiuska and driving a Super 1600 car. I think the pace here, of course, Nitish we know is well versed in the ways of supercar, but you know, do not count Rennis Nitish out. That was the moment I mentioned in the background for Bakiuska.
Yeah, so that didn't, it didn't seem to have any problems through the rest of the session, so maybe just a little bit throttle happy and a little bit of dust on the track. You really know that corner's a bit off camber as well, so you know, maybe just got a little bit throttle happy from being a bit inexperienced in these cars.
So take a look back at the start. Amazing start by De Ridder, to be fair. You can see there's a tiny bit of wheel spin, he was away. Raymond's very sensible here and dropping back, and De Ridder just goes slightly too deep. Cyril's like, cheers.
Yeah, so like I said, maybe De Ridder just not quite used to his braking points, obviously missing Q1 as well, so he's not quite had the track time as the other guys he's out with.
And he's all over him from that point on. In fact, De Ridder's car's just gone underneath us, and you can smell the radiator fluid. So this was then the next lap. Cyril with his problem pulls wide and lets De Ridder back through.
Yeah, so not a great start for the GCK Academy cars. You know, both had problems in Q1 and Q2, so I'm sure these young guys can suck it up, but they're going to be so keen to impress.
Yeah, they are, and you know, Shisrit has said there is no pressure on them to perform. If they get a good result, great. This is lap 3 where they think they've crossed the finish line. Pound 3's gone with De Ridder. Everyone else is going, where's the checkered flag? So they're going to be asking their spotters where the checkered flag was. I say there's going to be some interesting conversation. So you'll need to see the results of that one probably tomorrow, but we know who won the session. That is Timmy Hansen. Timmy Hansen then winning Q1 and Q2 to lead overnight here in Abu Dhabi, round 1 of the 2019 FIA World Rallycross Championship. Andreas Backer of P2, Kevin Hansen P3, so 2 Peugeots in the top 3 for the Hansen MJP team. They'll be very pleased indeed. Niklas Gronholm, fantastic, up in 4th, all over the back of Timmy in that second race. Then Anton Markland on the pace as well, Scheider in the Seat, Nitish in the Hyundai, Janis Balmanis in the new Ford. So such a mix. Rokas Bakiuska in the Skoda. So they're all in there. Shisrit's in, Zabo's in, and Timosyanov at the moment. Liam Doran, look, needs some better results tomorrow. And there is quite a gap. Look on the right-hand side of your screen, 68 down to 62. You can see as well Bennett at the bottom there. Some of the guys who've had 2 runs which haven't been quite so good. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to fight their way back into the semis.